everybody, welcome to Upstairs to the Right Music Channel. I'm your host, Mike McWilliams. Thank you for joining us here today. A little bit of housekeeping as usual. As you know, or you may not know, we have a live stream that we do every Sunday evening, 11 p.m. Central European time, called Sunday at Mike's. We get together, the community here that we're growing every day, and we'd like you to join that. We'll talk about that later. We are talking about guitar facts, guitar parts, anything that you could think of. It's a really exciting time. I would really like it if you took the time to join in with us every Sunday evening, Sunday at Mike's, 11 p.m. Central European time, wherever that finds you in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening. Please take the time to join in. In 1995, Fender bought the Armond company. Now, usually when a company... Hey, I just wanted to break in from my usual review of guitars to talk a little bit more in detail about the history behind this guitar. So in 1995, Fender purchased Guild, the guitar company. In 1997, Fender purchased the Armond company, famous for their pickups and their amplifiers. Now, it would have been all right if they had purchased these companies and had long-term plans for them. But generally, when companies buy other companies, they have two purposes in mind. The first one is to increase profits. The second one is to eliminate competition. Well, Fender hasn't exactly set the world on fire with what it did with the Guild brand. As a matter of fact, they've done pretty dismal, but they did accomplish one thing of getting that competition out of the way. And what do I mean by that? Well, in 1998, they started producing these guitars, the M75T, the M75, a few others, at their plant that they licensed out in Korea, the Simic factory, by taking old Guild guitar designs and marrying them to current Armond pickup designs. Now, these, at the price point of $599 at that time, these were considered to be excellent guitars. They were picked out by Guitar Player magazine in 2000 as one of their guitars of the month. And as a result of that, you would think to yourself, well, Fender had themselves a home run on their hands. These are really competitors to Les Pauls in a lot of ways. The design of these, the way that they were manufactured at the world-famous Simic factory, which is now closed, in Korea, and also the overall level of detail they put into building these guitars was seemingly paying off through the news media and word of mouth among other guitar players out there who were seeking something different from the Les Paul at that time. Well, in the year 2000, they abruptly stopped producing these guitars altogether. So it was a very short window of roughly about 2 years that they were producing this line of guitars, taking those old Guild acoustic designs, electric designs, and merging them again together with the Armond pickups. Now, why did they do this? Well, as it turns out, as was pointed out by our channel friend Sunbase, that the Fender Corporation in 2001 acquired a licensing deal with Gretsch. Now, these guitars would certainly be in direct competition with Gretsch, which they acquired the license of. They didn't buy it out. The Gretsch family still owns Gretsch, but they have licensed out to Fender to do the manufacturing, the production, and distribution of Gretsch guitars. Now, so certainly they did a disservice to consumers by basically buying out two competitors that they would see that would go against their ultimate goal of acquiring that Gretsch license. So to sum things up, basically what happened was Fender had their sights on Gretsch. They had it on it from the beginning. They merely identified what guitar brands would be in competition for that ultimate goal of obtaining the licensing for Gretsch, and they came across Guild and Armond. They purchased those companies around the same. They purchased the companies around the same time, the mid 1995 period to 97, and they essentially produced, using the Armond pickups and the Guild designs, a fantastic guitar that ultimately was just some kind of a tax write-off or some obligation that they had for the loans that they acquired in order to acquire those companies. And they only made these for 2 years, doing a great disservice, in my opinion, to the consumer in doing so. You can now find, of course, these Armond pickups only on Gretsch models and not at this price point. The pickups on this model at $599 retail back in 1998 at this point represent about $300 of the value of this guitar now. These are very sought after, very well respected pickups that you just won't find at this price point. Yeah, they would be hard pressed to produce a guitar like this again, especially with a rosewood fretboard, with the attention to detail. And this is 25 years old, and this thing is just rocking as hard as it did without changing anything on it when it first came off the assembly line in Korea. So yeah, a story there of how Fender kind of screwed us over a little bit yet again in terms of the consumer base and our choices. Not a big surprise there, but I do hope you enjoyed this tale of these Armond guitars. A little bit different from my normal review, but a very interesting, a little bit of corporate, let's say, machinations there going on that I thought behind the production of these guitars that I thought you might find interesting. All right, that's it for today's show, guys. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do join the community here. A lot of great reviews of guitars and stories coming up here, so you don't want to miss that. Until the next one, you guys take care. Bye-bye.